What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Ben Allen for those of you that are new, and in today's video we're going to be talking about my new series called Know Your MOS, right? This is episode 1 in a series of episodes, and today I have a special guest. His name is Ryan Bolton, and he's going to be talking about his MOS specifically, right? So stick around to find out, but without further ado, let's get to it. So, Bolton, right? Why don't you go ahead and tell the viewers what your MOS is?
25 uniform, Signal Support System Specialist.
There you go. So 25 uniform, right? Or 25U, right guys? Signal Support Specialist. Bolton's going to be telling us a little bit about it. I have some questions prepared right here on my phone, and we're going to go ahead and get this rolling. So my first question is, what exactly does your job entail?
Pretty much just troubleshooting, maintaining and operating most kind of communication devices, as in like radios, satellite terminals, computers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds very interesting. And just so you guys know, commo is probably one of the most important parts of like anything we do here in the military. Like for missions in particular, it's like a super big issue, because if their commo's not up, like it's going to be really hard to communicate with the people you need to communicate with, and it's a big deal. Like the other day I just overheard a conversation between a PL talking to one of the squad leaders, asking them who's the most critical member in like a squad and stuff like that, and the answer was the RTO, the radio guy, pretty much the commo guy, Bolton, pretty much. Like if that guy, if you lose comms, like it's gonna be a bad day. So just food for thought right there. But jumping into the next question, right? What advice do you have for incoming soldiers who plan to pursue your specific MOS? So like for example, like they're looking at MOSs and they want to do something like signal related, right? Or something in the 25 series. So what advice do you have for those guys? Like what should they know before coming in?
Have a very good understanding with computers and technology just in general. Troubleshooting, be able to just figure out what is causing a problem and what a solution would be, or why that problem is getting caused, and then being able, like I said, to figure out why it's happening and then what steps you need to take to solve that issue.
Okay. Yeah, definitely, because when I fuck with radios, like I get lost. Like I do not know what I'm doing sometimes, and especially remembering all the steps, like setting up comms and like making sure everything's plugged in correctly and everything's filled. Like it's a giant hassle. Like if you're not like technically savvy, I guess you could say, I would definitely reconsider picking this MOS. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, that's kind of
okay. And so
it's something that it just takes practice. Like and that's what you'll learn at AIT. Like you'll go over it over and over again, and then it'll just become second nature.
Okay, yeah, so perfect. That jumps right into the next question, right? What was AIT like? So you said they train you and prepare you. So would you say like somebody coming in with no experience whatsoever, would they be able to catch on in AIT?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, so my AIT back in 2015 was pretty much half computer side, because there's a like very wide, what would you say, like
a wide range
of stuff to do with computers, and then the other half was well, I'd say like a fourth was radio stuff, which kind of going from radios and electronical stuff, like or knowing how to like use the SKL or radios or the like just multimeter to try and troubleshoot. Like if something's not having power, they show you how to do that, like the circuitry and stuff. And then the other fourth of it was kind of just like setting it all up, getting all of that stuff to talk to each other or to work together, like in a talk situation. Okay. Like Tactical Operations Center.
So how long was your AIT and where was it located at?
It was in Fort Gordon. It was 17 weeks long.
Okay. Did you enjoy your time there? Like what kind of like privileges did you guys have?
We were able to use our phones. On our off time, we couldn't bring our phones to the schoolhouse or anything like that. Obviously cheating or just, basic discipline. stuff like that. We could have computers. We could pay for the in-house internet kind of stuff, but
Okay.
maybe it got better.
Is there anything else about AIT in specific that you think somebody should know about? Like what were the tests like? Like, was it more hands-on, more written?
So for the first half, the computer half was mainly how many steps you get right. There's no critical tasks in it, which is you could get all the other steps right to what your test was, but if you failed like the 3 critical tasks in it, even if you got like an 80-90% on it, you would fail the entire portion of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So I think that pretty much covers the AIT aspect. If you guys can think of anything AIT related that we might have missed, drop it in the comment section below, and we will hit that up at a later time. Okay, so next one, right? How physically demanding is your MOS?
So it depends. Mainly when you start out with my job, not very much, because you're usually in S6, which is the battalion part of it, and you're just pretty much learning the basics of your job. But when you get sent down to the company, you become an RTO. You have to start doing the infantry or the tanker kind of stuff, and yeah, it becomes a lot more physical because you need to start like rucking and doing like that kind of stuff, like keeping up with your commander if you're going to become the RTO, or if they choose a company RTO for the commander. It gets a little bit easier, but still you need to be able to, like, you'll still probably be out there in the field.
Okay.
So. And
usually you're with the company commander, right? So
yeah.
Like pretty much the main dude in the entire company.
Yeah.
Right. So you're definitely moving around a lot, right? Like whereas you're with the commander, I'm with first sergeant, as the senior line medic, and we both have our roles, right? And I can tell you, like, if you're like a healthcare specialist medic and you're like in the aid station, like being on the line is completely different from that, because while it's not as clinical, it's definitely more physical in the aspect of like, oh, hey, like we got to go set up a CCP like over here on top of this mountain, or somewhere over here, or we got to climb from here to there, or we got to go pick up this casualty there, right? And then same with you, you're always moving around, you got to go to different locations, you're doing your leader's recons, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
pretty much.
It's definitely pretty much what it is, right? So like S6 is pretty much like just back at the battalion, with like the HEC element and stuff like that. And they pretty much just like do regular like commo stuff, as to where Bolton does a mix of commo stuff, computer stuff, thrown in with like, the infantry tactics, because he has to roll out, dismount with the CO and just stuff like that. So it kind of varies depending on what position you're in, right? If you're like in the clinic as a medic, hey, it's not as physical, but if you're on the line as a medic, it's more physical. So same thing applies for Bolton's job.
Yeah.
So next question, how could one better prepare for the requirements of your job, right? I think we already kind of like touched on that earlier, right? Like be tech savvy, but would you say there's anything else that they can do?
Start being able to lead or become a leader, and like try and learn characteristics to be able to like take charge and like take initiative on how things need to run, and just learn the vehicles or platforms that you need to do. Obviously, if you're light infantry, it's going to be more of Humvees, like trucks, or the LMTVs, which are what personnel and supply carriers. But yeah, or if you're tanks, become familiar with tanks. If you're like strikers, if you're Bradleys, learn that platform. Try and learn that before you go down the line unit, but before the military, yeah, just kind of, I don't know, learn computers, learn basics of computers. Yeah,
okay.
That'll pretty much cover your bases. So.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree. Like if you're gonna go to the line, like definitely learn what you're gonna be going to before you get in there, right? Like, working on the Brads, like if you've never worked on a Brad, you're not gonna know what you're doing. Or same with the striker, right? or with the trucks and just stuff like that. So it's definitely good to be prepared beforehand. So like what I do as a medic is like, we're hardly ever taught like anything new. Like most of the stuff that I've learned, I've had to learn on my own. Like me and my buddies, like the ones I want to learn, like we've hit up our old AIT books to reference. Like, oh shit, you know, I forgot what you do in this exact situation. Let me go back, right? Because you know, you don't deal with like snake bites all the time. So let me go back to this book. Let me read it. Let me refresh my mind. Let me get it used to it, right? Let me pretty much relearn something that I've already learned, right? So I'm pretty sure it's the same thing, right? Like go back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like I've had to go back and just see what the basic fundamentals of this kind of thing are. This kind of accessory of a radio is, or what to do in this situation if there's a computer error or something like that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And so I think this will be the last question right here. If you could change your MOS, or if you could change anything about your MOS, would you? And if you could change your MOS completely to a different one, would you?
Changing any part of the MOS? I think the MOS is pretty solid. Like it covers a broad amount of bases. I would try and have it more specific though, to like, so there's what the other MOS that we're pretty much getting rid of is 25 Charlie, which is the radio, like actual radio talk operator, and they're specifically supposed to be the RTO and on like at the line company level, and deal with maintaining and operating the radios. And so my job is supposed to be just up at battalion or brigade, and no, there's not much I would change about it. I mean, they're probably getting rid of the 25 Charlie MOS anyways, or phasing it out slowly.
Okay.
But what would I change my MOS to? I personally like computers more, but so 25 Bravo is more for me, and yeah, I'd probably change that if I could, or if I could in any combo MOS, but yeah.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so that's pretty much all the questions I have for Bolton. If you guys have more specific questions, go ahead and drop them down in the comments section below, and I'm sure you'd be more than happy to answer them. You know, I'll just give you my phone, you can answer that shit. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning into this video. And also, right, since this is a new series, I'm gonna need your all's feedback, right? So what did you think of this first episode? And also, what other MOSs would you like to see me interview, right? Drop them down in the comment section below, right? We'll look at them, and if I can find them, I will make that shit happen, I promise you. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you're not already, follow me on Instagram. It's probably the best possible way to reach me, right? You can DM me. I always respond. I put question stickers to get video ideas from you guys. It's at Ben_Allen175, right? And also, thank you, Bolton, for coming on the channel. We really appreciate it, right? Giving the viewers some knowledge on an MOS that I'm not really familiar with, but that you could provide that information. So thank you. Alright guys, so yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Later.